Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Married to Medicine review. I guess I'm doing this one first because I enjoyed this episode more than I did The Real Housewives. But go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump right into it. So we begin with the ladies arriving at the beautiful ranch slash rodeo where there are no televisions. They are greeted by a friendly gentleman that has them sit down so that they can enjoy food and libations. They fill each other in about conversations that they had while arriving at the ranch, right? So we get a flashback of Tisha talking about her first time and how anticlimactic it was, telling them that the first time that she had sex, she didn't enjoy it. Me neither. In the terms of this show, I needed a few rodeos until I understood the assignment. So I got what she was saying and what Dr. Jackie was saying when they were talking about it. Dr. Jackie informs us that Curtis was her first time and it wasn't anything to phone home about. It wasn't spectacular. It was very anticlimactic. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by hearing that about Curtis at all. Curtis very much so gives basic and boring to me. Even listening to him converse with the guys and with the ladies at times, I don't see him being a thrill, my personal opinion. So Contessa lets us know that for her, it hurt a lot for a long time because she's unusually tight. Heavenly talks about how her first time was with her husband, and Toya says, "Let's practice the truth." And everybody laughs. Toya kept digging at Heavenly this episode, but Heavenly surprisingly didn't get upset or too offended by what she was saying. Phaedra speaks about how with this trip, she wants it to be a thing where they kind of stop looking back to 10, 9, 8, 7, however many years ago, and that they move forward. And Toya takes this opportunity to say what we all want to know. She's like, okay, Phaedra, at this point, it's been a year that you've, been around, and we don't really know much about you. It's giving very much surface level. Toya may be messy at times. But one thing that I like about Toya is that Toya tells the truth. Toya says things that some of the other ladies won't say. And I'm glad that she said it. So she's like, okay, Toya, well, what do you want to know? And Toya says, we want to know what makes you tick. She tells us, Phaedra gives us one chapter in a book of like 50 chapters. She's been closed off. And Phaedra doesn't want to share much because she's like, I'm a very calm person and I'm listening to her talk about herself. And I said, okay, it's just lies after lies. Phaedra spends most of her time watching them so that she can predict what her next move is going to be. I have not forgotten who Phaedra has shown herself to be to people who were supposed to be her friends like Candy. The way that she did Candy and Todd was wrong. And she very much so is I'm going to get back at you at the best time that I feel is going to be very calculated because vengeance is hers. And I feel like at some point, I don't know when, that she's going to get on Toya because she hasn't brought it up yet, but she feels a way about Toya trying to figure out things about Apollo. To me, Phaedra brings fashions, some laughter, and lighthearted shade. That's about the significance of it. So Toya says, you brought us here to get to know each other and to mend things, but basically she's saying, we don't know you. This group shares a lot of themselves, and we find it hard to gel with people who don't. And I'm with Toya. It's not fair that they are expected to give so much of themselves while Phaedra doesn't. But Phaedra hasn't ever given a lot of herself. Even with the Apollo situation, she wasn't transparent. Once he got caught up and everything else happened, she wasn't fully honest about that either. She kind of pulled away and directed her frustration at Candy and Todd because they were assisting Apollo. So Phaedra shuts it down. And I notice while Toya is saying all these things that everybody's quiet, they're making faces, but nobody is backing Toya up. And a lot of them, with the exception of Jackie, seem to feel that way, but they're not saying it. So Phaedra tells us that unlike Toya, she has to do more than just play tennis. She's busy with multiple jobs and a career. And I wonder, does she not feel like this is a job too? Because I'm sure that even on this series, even on this franchise, that Bravo is paying her a lot. So she should have to share something in order to earn that check. Dr. Heavenly, in her confessional, confirms that, Toya may be messy. Toya may be messy, But one thing Toya's going to do is Toya's going to tell you the truth. That was an awful Heavenly impression, but you get it. She says they all think that Phaedra is full of crap. And Toya is the only one willing to speak up. And I want to know, why is that? Why are y'all afraid to say anything about Phaedra? So they ride over to where they're supposed to be staying. It's so cute. They have these mini wagon cabins that are hotel rooms. Well, they're hotel rooms, but on the outside, they look like wagons. I guess that's the best way to explain it. It has a king bed in it. It has a place to shower. It has a couch. It looks nice. Reminds me of when we went glamping, but on a much bigger scale, because when we went glamping, we were in actual tents. But either way, the ladies, even though it's not the Four Seasons, for the most part, they're satisfied with it. Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly are sitting outside on the porch, and they talk about Phaedra. And Heavenly wants to know if Jackie feels like Toya was right. And Dr. Jackie says that she thinks that Phaedra is just trying to figure out who the group is. After all, she did make mention of the fact that if she were with this group, her marriage probably would have been saved. That's a lie. That is a lie. We didn't know her on Real Housewives of Atlanta either. She wasn't even honest about things that were going on in her life with Apollo, nor her pregnancy when she was first pregnant. A lot of the true nature of her came out after certain beans were spilled by Phaedra, by Candy, as far as her finding out that she had something to do with her having problems with her liquor license, allegedly, and by Portia, who was the frick to her frack or the frack to her frick. I don't know. But that's how we found out certain things. Phaedra was doing a lot of things behind the scenes that we weren't made privy to. So Contessa and the ladies, with the exception of Phaedra and Quad, because they're always late, head to the saloon. Simone tells Toya that she's going to be her an accountability partner because she's already acting up. So Simone brings up what Toya said at Quad's party about, them being fake and boring. And she was like, I don't really remember what I said, but I do know that Heavenly will keep saying she's sorry. Contessa's going to ear hustle. Simone's going to grin and not give any conversation. And I do stand by, Heavenly being fake and Jackie being boring. Dr. Jackie says, okay, and I can stand by basically calling you and saying that you have no substance. Jackie, I partially feel, even though you took it back and apologized, that you feel that way a little bit. She may not have a lot of substance, but Toya is very much so, and her family, one of the reasons why some of us tune into this show. At this point, other than being a workaholic and a cancer survivor, which I'm not knocking, I'm very proud of her for that, and I'm glad that she's been able to survive it, and Curtis cheating, there isn't much else that Jackie has given us. I enjoy the medical, vantage point of things. I love the information that she provides us. I love how informative she is. But with Toya, we can count on a good time and some laughs. We don't know if we're going to get that about Jackie. So I don't think that Toya lacks substance, but I feel like part of Jackie does feel that way because Jackie, let's be clear, has always felt like she's better than the ladies that aren't doctors. She has, as has Heavenly at various points, which we're going to get to that in a moment. So speaking of the laughs, we pan back to the cabin where Phaedra and Quad are still getting ready. They look cute with the little poom poom shorts on. It's the short shorts cowgirl edition. They use a bunch of spray. I don't know if that was to make the clothes stay in place or to make sure they smell fresh. Let me know. And they head off to the saloon. So at the saloon, despite calling Jackie boring, Toya wants an apology from Jackie. Toya, you literally stood there and said that Jackie is boring, and you kind of stood on it, but you want her to apologize. Okay, I think Jackie should have been asking for an apology too, but Jackie wasn't asking for one, and she does apologize to Toya. And Simone reminds them that her friend said that the apology is for the person giving it. Tisha starts talking about apologies and what type of apologies she's expected. And Toya's like, look, just tell Heavenly that she hurt your feelings, girl. And Heavenly apologizes again, admitting that she does have a little remorse because she did go too far. And she points out that they both said things, however, that they shouldn't have said. I think that Heavenly is right in that statement. I do think that they both went too far. I do think that in that moment, Heavenly did mean to apologize when she first did, because I'm sure that her and her husband had certain conversations off camera. But I also feel like Heavenly very much so is the person who, if you don't accept her apology, she wants you to forgive her on her time rather than your time. And she's gonna mess up again. So I can't necessarily not blame Sweetie for being like, oh no, I don't accept it, because Heavenly's gonna do some mess again. It's what she does, and it's not okay that she continues to do that, even though for the most part I like Heavenly. She tells Tisha, you owe me an apology too. My husband doesn't cheat. Neither one of them are right. I think that both of them said some dirty things. I think that Heavenly bringing up not Heavenly, that Sweet Tea bringing up Heavenly's deceased mom was messed up. I feel like Heavenly saying certain things about Dr. G was messed up. Certain things need to stay off the internet. So Tisha says that she doesn't know if it's because what it is, but if it's the disrespect or it's the fact that Heavenly keeps running her mouth because she's lonely. And Dr. Heavenly, you could tell, is tired of talking about this mess. So she's like, look, you can either accept it or not. Maybe you need time to heal. I don't know. It's yeah. Next, Tisha says, stupid is as stupid does. And then Dr. Heavenly calls her stupid. And then she says she's ghetto. And people are looking at them because they're an establishment. And Heavenly says, you're all of that and uneducated. Being educated is a flex. But being humble about it, to me, is an even bigger flex. I have a degree, right? And there are many people in my family that never went to college and have done far more financially for themselves than I have with my little degree. I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is it's wrong to sit there and speak negatively about someone or make references to them like you're better than them just because you have a doctor or a PhD. And I don't like it. I feel like the cast, as I said earlier, does it a lot. They've done it to Quad. They've done it to Toya. They did it to Mariah. And now they're doing it to Sweet Tea. It's not a good look. So Contessa jumps in, trying to take up for Sweet Tea. And Heavenly is like, do you know her? Because you keep on saying stuff, and I really don't feel like you know her. And she's like, well, I know that she would not, hurt me. You don't know that. Contessa, it's been multiple seasons at this point. We saw how Scott treated you. You put it out there for us to see on camera. You talked about it. So you're now mad at Heavenly for speaking about it on her platform. We know that there's other things that Heavenly knows about you that she's never shared. Was she right for going to YouTube and discussing certain things? No, she should have kept her butt off YouTube because y'all are friends. And I personally, if I was friends with someone, I know I would never do that to them. But at what point are you going to let it go? So they're going back and forth. And Quad says, let's just do these dances. So because Tisha is young and from Texas, she wants to, show these girls how it's done. We hear about how, Black people know a whole bunch of line dances, and the kinds that, they're going to learn at the ranch are probably going to be a little different. We know all of them can't dance. Quad and Tisha share more in common than Dr. G. They both like to dance. So they dance and they have a good time making fun of each other and laughing with each other. And it's good to see, because this is what we want. We want the lightheartedness. So it's time to eat. They all head off to a bonfire. They're told by Phaedra that tomorrow is going to be a photo shoot and that Toya is the creative director. Simone and Dr. Jackie end up heading to Simone's room because the smoke is too much for them. They speak about how great the day was, just like the ladies are outside, and they hope nobody gets into it. So Quad decides this is a great time to be a mediator between Contessa and Heavenly. She starts talking about how close they were and how they used to talk on the phone like 3 times a day and travel together, and that 10 years of knowing each other should mean something to them because it means something to her. To some people, those years would mean something, but it's clear that to these ladies at this point, the years don't matter. The both of them are stubborn and they're both hurt and they're going to have to do it on their own time. So Contessa feels like rather than Quad focusing on her and Heavenly, that Quad needs to worry about her own situation with Simone. The thing about Quad and Simone is they will eventually work it out. I don't know when. I don't know how. Neither one of them love to admit when they're wrong. So we'll see what that happens. But the situation with Contessa and Heavenly, to me, at this point, I feel like it needs to, like, let it go. All of them need to let it go because it's not that deep. But you guys tell me what you think. Heavenly did apologize prior to all of this, and Contessa feels like they should talk about it later. They should, with it's just the two of them, and I feel like it could have been a conversation that was had off camera. We see that Toya says that she's tired, so her and the others go to their rooms while Quad, Heavenly, and is Contessa still there? No, I think it was Phaedra. They sit outside and they're talking. And Heavenly is claiming that, she doesn't want to be friends with her anymore. She doesn't want to go through certain emotions again. She feels like, she was a sounding board for Contessa. She said all that, I think, to Jackie. But either way, that's how Heavenly feels. That I think it's okay, personally, to say that you were hurt. And as a result of it, you have new boundaries. So that's the end of that conversation. She doesn't know she wants to salvage the friendship. It's the next morning. The ladies get ready. They head over to, not they. Toya heads over to Contessa's and she was like, I was trying to get some makeup wipes and I went over to go to somebody else's cabin and there was a raccoon that was out there that near Phaedra's room that did a stare down with me. I started laughing immediately because I remember at one point we had a raccoon. Not as a pet, but we thought he was our pet. And his name was Cooney. And Cooney would love to... It's a bad name to say it, but I'm just telling you what we call it. That was his name. And he loved coming on the back porch, right? On the patio. And you know how you have the umbrella tables or whatever. So what he would do is, because he was so smart, he would pull the trash can over to the table. Well, not pull it, like push it with his body. Get on the table, stand on his 2 legs and lift open the lid and dig in the trash and pick out what he wanted to eat. I am not lying. We sat there and we watched one day to see him in action. Like we peeked through the thing. And when I say he used to have a field day, he used to have a field day. So it got to the point where we had to put bungee cords on the lid so he couldn't open the trash. But for a while, he was having a field day. So when I heard her talking about it, I was like, yeah, raccoons are really smart. I don't blame her for being, scared and apprehensive and taking her time to ease back into her cabin because I wouldn't want any of that smoke from the raccoon either. So we see Tisha and Simone talking, and Simone encourages her to make things right with Heavenly, that she feels like maybe she needs to be vulnerable with her. It's so interesting how all these ladies have advice for other women and how they need to try to work things out. Yet Simone and Quad, who seem to be the ones giving advice right now, haven't worked out their stuff. So the both of them need to be quiet. But Tisha feels like she was vulnerable with her at one point. And at this point, I don't care because they're both wrong and neither one of them want to admit they're wrong. Can we move on? Please, because it's not just Heavenly. It's Tisha too. And I'm tired of it. So Jackie is talking to Heavenly and she tells her that she needs her to have a talk with Contessa. Heavenly says, she would like to have a relationship, but she doesn't want to be hurt again because she's looked back at it and she's realized, in her opinion, that she was there for Contessa more than Contessa was there for her. That she would be on the phone with Contessa and talking to Contessa and advising Contessa, and Contessa just, threw all that away. I don't understand. well, let me not say I don't understand. I think Heavenly was hurt because of how Contessa dropped her. But I think Heavenly needs to understand, too, that you probably were a sore subject for that woman and her husband. Because you said certain things online, like she needs to leave him, and it's recorded of her, you saying that she needs to go ahead and leave him and teach him a lesson by leaving him. And I'm sure that he resents you for that. A woman can forgive her man, but that man will not forgive you. And I think that's what happened here. And I think that's further caused distance with them. So Jackie tells her that, she wants to use Simone as an example, because when her and Simone were having their problems and when they fell out, she really did miss her, that she found herself at the hospital and missing the laughs and being able to call her when Curtis got on her nerves. And she just, wanted them to fix things. So she kind of wants them to do that too. Heavenly, as I said, talks about the one-sided friendship. Jackie's like, y'all were hanging out. Y'all were doing things together. You were taking trips. You were at the pool. And Heavenly's like, man, you remember more stuff than I do. I forgot all of that stuff. At this point, I feel like the two of them just need to coexist. Heavenly apologize. Whether Contessa accepts it or not, that's a whole nother story. They may be able to come back in some form, but it will never be the way that it was. So we get to next see the ladies finally going out. So we get to see them doing the petting zoo and the lasso and horseback riding and jumping rope. And I said, okay, I love this. I got a little chuckle out of them doing the things. And I like it. I like seeing stuff like this. I love the scenery. It's so peaceful to me. And I enjoyed it. So they all go back for lunch. Sweet Tea isn't there because her cramps and stuff are getting to her. So she's in her room with a heating pad and all that other stuff. The ladies talk about their first jobs and how but little bit of money that they made. And Heavenly says she made $3 and change at her first. And they call her crack because she would do anything for that money. Heavenly seems to not have changed in that regard, because Heavenly has a lot of businesses too, trying to keep that income going in. It's time to get ready for the shoot. Toya wants the ladies to look good, so she goes from room to room to approve people's outfit choices. She starts with Contessa, and she is not feeling the Party City blonde wig, even though Contessa feels like she looks good. Contessa has a banging body, and if Contessa got a stylist to just help her out for a little bit, it will work wonders. It really, really would. Toya, no, I said that. She goes to Jackie. She loves Jackie's outfit. Jackie's outfit was fire. That white with her accessories looked really, really good. And Jackie has a nice body for it as well. She looked nice. She tells Dr. Jackie that, she's selfish because she should have helped her friend out because she doesn't like what Heavenly has on. What Heavenly had on was cute. It was the shirt that threw it off, especially because it was one of those shirts that had like the extra fabric to it. And it like, you know what it reminds me of? You know how you have a drape, like a curtain, and then there's that little piece. I don't know what it's called. My grandmother has them all over her curtains, but it does like that little curve thing. It reminded me of that. It was that little curve that you see on drapes. And she's like, well, do you got, a different type of shirt? And Heavenly says no. And she's joking Jackie, talking about Jackie was the only one who wanted to look good. That's why she let her friend look like that. She goes to Quad, tells Quad she doesn't like that. That's too much red. Could you incorporate some white and blue with that red? Quad does end up changing. I think I saw her wearing a white shirt with the red leather jacket, and it did look a lot better. Phaedra, she goes at first, and first she looks like she doesn't like it. And she's like, okay, what else are we doing? And Phaedra's she was like, that's okay. She likes it. Then she goes to Simone, and she loves what Simone has on. She's really, really excited about what Simone has on and tells her don't change anything. We then see that the ladies are heading out, and that is it. Y'all let me know what you thought of this episode. Tell me if you think that Heavenly and Tisha, Sweet Tea, should make up. Yay or nay? Because at this point, I'm tired of them keep pushing this storyline. But you all let me know what you think. As I said earlier, like the video as it helps the channel. And maybe I'll get into the Married to Medicine algorithm. Also, I'm on the road to 2,000 and I hope to get there sooner or later. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do me a favor and do that as well. Until next time.